Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 1 p.m. weather update. This is going to be a special one as we are going to run pretty much from 1 o'clock all the way until 3 o'clock with, again, weather coverage. Now, there will be times, again, where I'm going to step away from the desk, and of course, I will be leaving you guys with a look at your radar picture, but I will be popping back in and out. Just want to, again, make sure we're getting you the latest from the Weather Center. But enough of me chit-chatting about it. Let's talk about the storms. Let's see. Got to send out a couple more things before we start to, oh, not that one. There we go. Send that out. All right. Now, I think we are all good to go. So, where are the storms at right now? Enough, Charlie. More storms. Here's what we've got currently across eastern North Carolina. The line of thunderstorms right now currently working its way over I-95. We've seen a lot of these severe thunderstorm warnings expire. We do still have our eyes on the strong cell. It's kind of a small cell that's actually extending out, trying to become another portion of that heavy downpour line. That one is heading towards the Wilmington area in Pender County. That is one, again, that we are keeping a very close eye on, as if we are going to be experiencing severe storms. My gut feeling is that it's going to be out of that system right now that is just moving out of Whiteville and, again, towards more western Pender counties. Pender County, there's only one of them. Do want to say good afternoon to Esmeralda from Chinquapin. Thank you so much for joining in. For those of you in the Duplin County area, you guys, again, are unfortunately potentially going to be experiencing some severe weather. It's not a guarantee, but again, that line, that system right there, we'll pause that loop, and you can see it again from not quite to Myrtle Beach, but extending up just north towards really off to the eastern side of Highway 701. That is where the highest likelihood of severe weather for eastern North Carolina currently resides. It is not currently a severe warned storm. However, it has not only produced severe thunderstorm wind gusts and has been a warned system, but we have also seen it produce a tornado warning back when it was near Kingstree in South Carolina. You can see Kingstree again down in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Dominique O'Gorman, any chance that the storm could produce a tornado is weakening. Dominique, 100%. It is weakening. It is weakening. The atmosphere over eastern North Carolina is far more stable than the atmosphere further back towards the, well, what the atmosphere had been further back towards the west and South Carolina and even Georgia early on this morning. Stability plays a huge role in thunderstorm forecasting. So, when we are looking at a system like this and we see that it is losing not only its the intensity of its rainfall, but we also note that the severe wind gusts that have been associated with it are no longer present. That is a great indicator that this system again is weakening. And it is. We have seen it get weaker from really around 9 to 10 a.m. early on this morning to now 1 o'clock. And it's something that will continue to weaken as it moves over eastern North Carolina. Now, just because it will gradually get weaker doesn't mean we can't have maybe some spikes. And there we go. Does look like we now have a tornado warning for portions of southeastern North Carolina. So we're going to check over with the Weather Service and get an idea of exactly what we've got going on there. Give me one moment here. So yeah, we've got looks like that tornado warning has yet to pop up over on the Weather Service page. But right now, again, that tornado warning is likely going to be running, I would anticipate around 1:30 to maybe 1:45. Now, that does not include eastern North Carolina counties. That is more for the WITN-TV market, but we do, again, want to mention it because that is the system. Again, we mentioned it earlier that if we see severe weather, it is likely going to be out of that system. And here we are experiencing just that. Now, as far as counties involved, that is going to be Columbus and Brunswick County that are experiencing that tornado warned system. You do note that that polygon does have a white outline. That indicates that this is a tornado warning that was radar indicated, not actively confirmed on the ground. So there is essentially just enough spin in the atmosphere to push meteorologists at the Weather Service to put out that tornado warning. But let's take a look again at what else we've got going on across the east. I'll get my face out of there, and you can again see that the storms north of that singular storm we were just talking about not showing quite as much rainfall. The rainfall rates much weaker. However, you do see again more fragmentation and some opportunities for inflow that could potentially lead to spin down the line. Now, again, with the weak rainfall rates, I'm not putting a whole lot of stock into that spin potential for those storms. Really kind of north of Bladen County. Once you get to Bladen and Sampson County, your storms start to get a little bit weaker and not seeing the same sort of lift with those storms than what we've got, again, closer towards Columbus and Brunswick counties. That's where that tornado warning currently resides. So here's a look at where we are as far as your severe thunderstorm watch. Now, again, this is a watch. This is not a warning. This just tells us that we have all of the ingredients in place in order to produce severe weather. It does not mean that we are automatically now going to see severe weather. As I say that, of course, the National Weather Service just issued the severe thunderstorm warning that will go until 2 p.m. that does include portions of Pender County. In fact, I would say around 60% of Pender County is included in that. Also included, we've got the southeastern corner of Bladen County, the eastern portion of Columbus County, and I don't know if we'll be able to, can I? Trying to drag it down. There we go. There we go. So we'll drag that there. Sorry, trying to do this off my phone here, but there you can see we've got the tornado warning that lasts until 1:30. That again is for Columbus and Brunswick County. That is heading southeastward. So for those of you watching in Pender County, and more specifically Duplin and Onslow County, this is not a tornado warning that is going to be directly affecting you guys. But you do note that that severe thunderstorm polygon that you're seeing, it's the yellow with the red outline, that is a severe thunderstorm warning. And Pender County very much included in that warned zone. It's highlighted in red because forecasters at the National Weather Service do believe that this is a tornadic, or at least a system that can produce tornadoes. Obviously, we've got a tornado warning included along that line. So for right now, again, Pender County is the kind of the lone spot right now that is currently experiencing an active severe thunderstorm warning, but it does not look like. In fact, we are going to stop this and we are going to go back to our main line of storms here and give you guys another look at where the storms are currently compared to where those warnings are. And right now, Pender County, you guys still not seeing any rainfall actively come down. That will change as we make our way through the next I think we'll see some raindrops starting in more western Pender County, likely within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. The rain will be heavy when it rolls in. Ahead of those rain showers, you're going to have a very strong gust of wind. A lot of those are referred to a gust front, and that can certainly knock some stuff around. If you've got outdoor, I know in my backyard I've got some soccer balls and some big kickballs out there that hopefully my wife has brought in. But if you, like me, and you've got kids, and those kids maybe don't clean up after themselves as well as they should, now would be a good time to go out and bring some of that stuff that can blow around inside. That way, A, you don't lose it, and B, it doesn't blow around and damage anything else. But as far as a more zoomed in look at that cell, again, this is certainly the one system right now that I think we need to worry about. The ones further up towards the north, not as much lift, not as much heavy rainfall associated with it, which again goes back to that lift mechanism. The more lift you have, the higher the rainfall rates generally you're going to see, because dew points across the east have been elevated thanks to the southwesterly winds we've had over the past several days. So that's kind of what we've got right now over eastern North Carolina. Again, other than Pender County, we are currently warning free. Knocking on wood to hopefully extend that out, but we do have that severe thunderstorm watch in place for all counties along and south of Highway 264. Now, for those of you in Dare County, mainland Dare is included in that zone. You guys a little bit north of 264, but we're going to count it here. Now, let's take a look at current air temperatures, because this again helps tell the story of those of you who are still under the threat of severe storms and those who are not. Right now, Rocky Mount, Roanoke Rapids, Ahoskie. You guys seeing air temperatures currently in the 50s, low 50s for Rocky Mount and Roanoke Rapids. You guys are at this point clear of that severe weather threat. Not anticipating any severe weather for those of you in Nash, Halifax, Northampton, and Hertford, and even Gates County too. We'll throw Gates in there as well. But once again you get those air temperatures back up above the 70-degree mark, that's when we have still an opportunity for seeing enough lift in the atmosphere to produce severe storms. As far as winds are concerned, again, seeing the strongest winds back towards that frontal boundary. Goldsboro right now coming in with a 30-mile-an-hour sustained wind. We've got 24 in Kinston, 20-mile-an-hour breeze in New Bern, 22 in Jacksonville, 21 in Beaufort, Washington, and Greenville. As you head a little bit further up towards the northeast, winds not quite as strong as what we're seeing, again, closer to that stormy zone. But currently even seeing 17-mile-per-hour sustained winds in Manio. Let's take you through how this is going to progress as we make our way into the afternoon. This is a picture by the time we get to, well, 1:14. Look on the clock. What time is it, Charlie? It's 1:14. Perfect. So we're right on schedule. Let's advance this a little bit further. Get to around 2 o'clock. And this is where note your air temperatures along with the rain coming down. We do still see the model picking up on that heavy downpour down across Bladen, Sampson, and even Pender counties. That's the system that we are concerned about. That is the cell that could produce some damaging wind gusts and potentially even a tornado. Dominique, I may be yelling at the sun to go away so the clouds can take over. Oh, Dominique, I enjoy your commentary. Thank you so much for joining me over on Facebook. But as far as the storm goes, again, watch as it moves over Onslow County and then into Craven County. You'll note that the heavier rainfall rates, the bright reds you saw on your screen, even the dark reds, not as pronounced. A sign of weakening. This is a pattern that we have seen over the past several days, models continuing to show the storms weakening as they move over eastern North Carolina. Big reason why is stability. Once that cold front, once your air shifts, your winds shift from the southwest to the northwest, the stability of the atmosphere increases dramatically. We see a cooling of air temperatures, and that limits the lift potential in the atmosphere and calms everything down. So while we will still have heavy downpours by this point, it does look like, again, our severe weather threat is going to be far more diminished than where we're at currently. So again, our window of severe storm action is happening right now, and by the time we get to around 3 to 4 p.m., you'll note again everything really starts to die down and quiet down. Ironically, at this point, as everything quiets down and dies down, winter decides to rear its head again, and we've got the potential for perhaps some snowflakes being spotted across some of our more northern counties. Nash, Edgecombe, Halifax, Northampton, Hertford, Gates counties potentially seeing a few snowflakes as this system moves out into the Atlantic. Now, it again is not going to be a snowflake system that will actively create snow accumulating on the ground, but it's still cool to see. It's cool to see, especially when you factor in that we were in the upper 80s to low 90s yesterday, and here we are talking about snowflakes, classic Eastern North Carolina crazy weather. But that's why we're in the business. Love a little crazy with our forecast. By the time we get to around 5 o'clock, a lot of those raindrops are going to be on the eastern side of Highway 17. By this point, severe weather threat, gone. Off the coast, no worries. If you're worried about, what am I gonna do with my, say my dogs tonight? If you've got dogs who don't like thunder and usually get scared, you got to put the comforting thunder coats on them. This is not going to be one of those nights that we'll just see continuous thunderstorm activity. 5 o'clock, maybe a few leftover rain showers, maybe a few stray snowflakes, but we are looking quite a bit calmer over the tail end of the day. Now, winds are still going to be breezy by this point. Winds out of the northwest are going to continue to drive in cold air, and those winds are going to be blustery. So you may hear the winds kind of pushing the trees around. You may see them swaying a bit. That is, again, expected. But the severe gusts, the gusts that can really create the damage, likely will not be occurring by that point in the evening. So let's advance this a little bit further. By the time we get to around Thursday, Thursday, that is today. Today at around 8:30, the cloud cover's gone, and then we really see those air temperatures drop behind this very cold front. So as far as your 8-day forecast goes, again, enough Charlie, get out of here, me. We do have, again, a significant cool down. But I also want to draw your attention to what we're going to be seeing on Monday. Another round of storms. Air temperatures not quite as high leading up to Monday as what we have seen with today's storms. Today we started out in the upper 60s. I walked out my door today and was greeted by a 68-degree air temperature. On Monday, we're going to be a little bit cooler than that, 61 degrees as we walk out the door, but there will still, again, be that threat of not only thunderstorms, but there could be an opportunity for severe storm action out there, because notice your temperature drop from Monday into St. Patrick's Day. 75 degrees turns to 47 degrees in under a 24-hour period. That is going to create a substantial amount of lift in the atmosphere. Getting that cold air in, well, it's going to force the warm air over eastern North Carolina up into the atmosphere, and the more humid we can get, that's when we look at those overnight lows. Higher your overnight lows are, generally the more humid the air is, and that again can lead to a better opportunity for severe storms. But again, that's a look at your full 8-day forecast. We're going to get back to your radar picture right now and get an update on some of those storms. Well, not some of those storms. That one storm that we really have our eye on down over southeastern North Carolina, down closer towards Cape Fear. Now, you do note that tornado warning has since expired, no longer a part of that cell, but the severe thunderstorm warning does still indicate that tornadic activity could be possible around that system. So that's something we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on. Right now, it is moving slightly into Pender County. And of course, my phone just wants to go off right now. People love calling in the middle of a forecast. But zooming it in again a little bit closer, you can see the Wilmington, probably going to get clipped. If this storm system does hold together, I would anticipate Jacksonville, Trenton, possibly seeing some heavy rain, Wallace, Chinquapin, Esmeralda, still watching. Heads up, this is going to be a storm system again that will likely impact southern Duplin County. And then it could extend up over possibly Richlands. I would say between Richlands and Jacksonville, kind of that northern portion of Onslow County. You guys are, again, going to be exposed to not only heavy rainfall rates, maybe isolated hailstone coming down, but strong wind gusts as well. That, I think, is the main danger out of that system. That, and of course, the opportunity for spin. That's where the main concern is with that cell right there. Elsewhere in eastern North Carolina, not seeing that same sort of threat. There are certainly thunderstorms moving into parts of eastern North Carolina. Edgecombe County, looking at you guys right now. Tarboro, Canida, you guys are getting hit with some heavy stuff, but a lot of that, even Pine Tops, but that cell, that system again, does not look strong enough to right now currently push your severe weather thunderstorm warning. Currently, right now, the actual watch is just south of Edgecombe County. I don't believe Edgecombe is actually included in that zone. In fact, there it is. Yes, Edgecombe County not under the severe thunderstorm watch, but areas further southward are. Now, I'm going to step away for a moment. We are going to check back in with you guys coming up here, and we'll give it about 3, maybe 4 minutes. I'm going to check into the Weather Center, but we are going to leave this loop up for you. That way, again, you can see the developments as they happen. I'll step away, be back in a short while. All right, and we are back. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys being patient with me, but again, wanted to make sure that we had everything we need in order, again, to give you guys the best information moving forward. And I added, again, a couple products onto our First Alert radar display here, and again, still going with that loop, still have our eyes on that system that is currently starting to work its way into Pender County. Starting to see again some of the light initial showers coming down, but right now it is currently Bladen, looks like Columbus, and then even portions of southern Sampson County that are currently in the worst of that storm system. So again, I do want to highlight a couple areas for those of you who may be watching across southern Duplin County. Here again are some of the areas I think that could be a little bit more exposed to that severe thunderstorm, not currently including portions of Duplin County, but just with its current trajectory, I do think it will clip the southeastern corner of Duplin County from about Wallace, extending all the way out towards the Onslow County line. Will include areas around Cartersville, Paisley, Sloan, Schollers Crossroads, Pinhook, Chinquapin, Moretti, Lyman. Catherine Square may be a little bit far north. Beulahville may get clipped by that system. I think if you're watching in Beulahville, I think you'll certainly feel some strong wind gusts from that system, but I don't think the heavy rain is going to be able to reach that far south. For those of you watching in Onslow County, Catherine Lake, Gerganis, Angola, all again areas that are likely going to be experiencing that heavy rain system moving through. It is currently a severe thunderstorm warning, a severe thunderstorm warned system, but does not right now include Duplin or Onslow County. Currently includes, looks like Pender, Bladen, Columbus, and Brunswick counties. Apologize about that. All right, now, if anybody has any questions, please feel free, post them over on Facebook. That's something I am continuing to monitor, but let's advance this a little bit closer. Again, that area of concern, that severe thunderstorm warned area, is highlighted in red, which means that the storm system itself could produce some tornadic activity. Here, right now, what we've got is your storm relative velocity up, and this measures the speed and direction of raindrops within those clouds. And what we look for are couplets, or essentially bright green and red spots right next to each other that kind of look like two eyeballs, or even almost a figure eight setup. Right now, not seeing anything like that per se, but I'm going to see if I can draw the area of concern on here for you guys. That way you guys can again see kind of what I'm seeing. So here we go. We're going to try to, that spot right there. You kind of see that green spot. I know I kind of drew the circle a little big, but that is the area right now that I am most concerned about. Because if we see any sort of spin, it's likely going to be coming off of that zone. Right now, that again is pretty much the meeting point between Pender, Columbus, Brunswick, and Bladen counties there. That's that little spot where kind of all four counties really coming together. That's where I think our best opportunity for a tornado currently is. Now on the north side of that system, again, does look like we have some brighter red spots. What those red spots mean, those are raindrops that are moving away from the radar site. The green are raindrops moving towards the radar site. The brighter the colors, the stronger, the faster the movement speed of those drops. So when you see really those bright colors, it means the winds in that cloud are whipping around at a very extreme rate. Let's see if we can erase our circle here, and we'll advance this a little bit further. We'll put it into motion so you guys can see what we've got. Again, not really a great couplet per se. What we really have is more of a change of wind direction right along that line. But if we get any sort of inflow out ahead of that system, that's when our opportunity for spin in the atmosphere starts to come back again. And because those wind speeds are so strong, and we have had that history of spin with this system, that I do believe is why the National Weather Service is keeping this again, not only as a severe thunderstorm warned system, but one that again has that potential tornadic designation attached to it. Let's actually, I'm going to move this a little bit further northward so you guys can kind of see that we're not really seeing that same sort of potential for, I go a little bit further northward. There we go. As we head northward, all of the storms moving in, we're not really seeing that same sort of couplet signature on the radar. And without that, really not anticipating seeing another tornadic system produced out of this system. So let's take you back again to our standard radar. It's level 2 radar. Maybe. There we go. And we're back. But again, the system over right now, Pender and moving into Duplin County, that is currently the strongest system by a long shot here, as not only are we seeing a lot of the showers and storms further up towards the north continuing to weaken, not seeing as much red come down. Obviously, I see that, and I'm looking up at Edgecombe County, and Edgecombe currently, again, getting some very heavy rainfall rates, about to move into more western Martin County and even portions of western Bertie County. You guys are about to get hit with some pretty heavy rain showers and most likely some strong wind gusts to go along with those showers. I do want to answer a question from Kevin Dawson. Is Goldsboro going to get it bad? Right now, what you're seeing, Kevin, is the worst of it. You're seeing the worst of it. It's only going to improve over the next, give it about 30 minutes or so. Those raindrops, they'll continue, but they're going to get lighter and lighter. Goldsboro right now is through that severe weather threat, not anticipating any sort of severe weather potential at this point for Goldsboro. It's really right now focused across, I think, our opportunities for severe weather more pronounced across Duplin, Pender, Onslow, and potentially even Jones counties. Now, only Pender, out of those counties I just named, is the only one that currently has a severe thunderstorm warning active as we speak. I also want to again give a shout out to Lynn Martin, calling out some very rough gusts in Snow Hill to Farmville. Yep, right along that initial line before the heavy rains come in, you're going to have a big push of wind coming in from the west. That is, as those rain showers come down, they fall down and they do so heavily. We had a lot of humidity in the air over the past 24 hours from yesterday's heat. And as that, the cold front moving in lifts a lot of that humidity up, it condenses down into water droplets, and then those water droplets crash back down to earth. And as they crash back down to earth, then they start to shoot out because those winds, they can't go into the ground. So they hit the ground and then they shoot out ahead of it, creating more of a gust front type scenario. Here I am doing charades on a weather forecast, but that's the best way I can explain it to you guys is, again, the heavier the rainfall rates are, the more air those drops actually push from the upper levels of the atmosphere down to the ground. So ahead of the big rain showers, you will see, again, very gusty winds. The good news is those wind gusts aren't going to remain gusty through the day. It's just an indicator that your heavy rain we've been talking about is almost to your area. So once you see those rain showers start to come down, your winds will start to calm a bit. It will still be breezy on the backside of those drops, but we're not going to be seeing the same sort of strong wind gusts that we're currently seeing extend out beyond just that initial push of rain. Now again, Jerry Norman Jr. asking about what about Duplin County with a tornado risk? Great question, Jerry, and that's one that we are keeping a very close eye on. Duplin, Onslow counties, and again, potentially even, and Pender County, obviously. Pender, those three, Pender, Duplin, and Onslow have the highest likelihood of seeing severe weather and potentially a tornado. Now again, winds picking up in Winterville. That's from Kathy. Thank you so much, Kathy, for that observation. Do appreciate that. Kevin Dawson, you are very welcome, my man. You are welcome. And is Duplin County in a bad path of tornado weather? Right now, Jerry, we do not have any active tornado warnings, but what we do have is a severe thunderstorm warn system. That's what those polygons are, the yellow, not really boxes, just kind of odd shapes surrounded by red. That red outline indicates that those severe warned storms are in fact tornadic. They have the potential of creating a tornado. There has been spin detected in those storm systems, and that's why, again, they are highlighted in in that red color. Now there you see an additional severe thunderstorm warning has now been issued for Duplin, Lenoir, Jones, and Onslow counties. However, you will also note, I really want you to highlight this as well, is the outline of that polygon, the one that was just added, this one extending over Duplin, Lenoir, and Jones, Onslow counties. That one is highlighted, or has a white border, not indicating that tornadic potential. So again, good news there, that as that storm system, weather forecasters and meteorologists of the National Weather Service are seeing kind of the same thing we are, in that as this system progresses eastward, it's going to lose out on a lot of its not only tornadic potential, but just overall system strength. And that is very encouraging, because these storms over South Carolina and Georgia earlier this morning were really damaging. And we've been tracking this system for several days now, and further back towards the west and the Midwest over the past few days, we have heard reports of tornado outbreaks and very damaging winds. People have lost their homes with this system. Now for us, we are experiencing a much more subdued frontal passage. We're not seeing the same strength with these storms that they had when they were back over the Midwest, but this is a system that has a history of producing severe weather. Now Jerry Norman. So we in the good. Right now, Duplin County, I would say, is in the bad. But it could be worse. It could be worse. So that is certainly an encouraging sight. We're going to step away for just one moment and give you guys kind of another look at what is happening. I'm going to gather some thoughts, and we're going to check in with Chief Meteorologist Zach Holder in just a few moments. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me back. All right, here we are. We are good to go. I do want to let you guys know that we do have, again, Chief Meteorologist Zach Holder here. Zach came in early.
So many wires attached to me right now. I feel like
No, we're all wired up right now. It's a busy weather day. Again, this is one that we've been tracking for a while. Since earlier this week, we knew that these storms eventually would reach us here in eastern North Carolina. We knew that they would come with a big temperature shift, and usually that does come with quite a bit of lift in the atmosphere. that can create these severe storms. But what about this do you see that is giving us confidence that these storms are going to be weakening as they move across the east?
Yeah, even in Greenville right now, we have some very windy conditions, some dark skies, severe threat on near zero because we're already on the cool side of that boundary. And that's kind of what we watched yesterday. It was going to be close. We knew if there was going to be severe weather, it'd only be for about an hour or two, maybe 3 hours at the most, because the cold front's kind of crashing into those storms, undercutting them. And once that happens, your severe threat, it can look as scary as it wants outside, but if there's colder air moving in, especially a north wind, you're not going to get any severe weather out of that. Really one storm I think we're worried about over the next couple of hours.
And that is this one here that we continue to keep an eye on. Zach, I'll let you drive if you want, man, and we'll just provide some commentary. But as far as active warnings go right now, they are stretching from Columbus and Bladen counties and Brunswick County all the way up over Pender County, and those are the ones, kind of the warnings near Cape Fear that currently have that severe thunderstorm warned with a tornadic potential attached to them, but we do have that secondary severe thunderstorm warning attached to the same system, but it includes Duplin County, Lenoir, Jones, and northern Onslow County that right now does not include that tornadic potential designation. Now Zach right now is drawing some arrows on to highlight some other storms.
Yeah, so I really think with this storm, it's going to move right down this corridor, and that's where we have the warmest temperatures and the highest humidity. So I think this storm may stay severe all the way through Jones County, maybe even portions of Craven County. But with this cold front coming in from the west-northwest, eventually it's going to cut off that storm. And I think we'll see a big time in the weakening by the time it starts to approach probably past the Neuse River, closer to the Pamlico River. So somewhere kind of in Beaufort County. I think this storm will be severe and then start to die off. And that might be all we have to track over the next couple of hours, because everything back here, as I clear the screen and go back over towards Greenville, seen some low hanging clouds from our pirate cam. It's very windy outside. There's some downpours there now moving into Martin, Bertie County. Not severe, but definitely still some heavier rain. But we're just not seeing the type of intensity with this rain, as that colder air is already arriving with or ahead of the rain. Whereas down here from Kenansville, Pender County, Onslow, Jones, and maybe even portions of southern Lenoir, you're still warm. But as soon as that cooler air, and you'll feel it when you're outside, as soon as you feel that cool air come in, your severe threat's pretty much done with. That's why we think this is very brief. It just kind of, we've been watching it, but it just never seemed like the timing was going to be great. And it's just been good enough to give us a little bit of a window for severe weather and still straight line winds. I know National Weather Service has mentioned tornadoes at times. It's possible. I never like to completely rule out a tornado just because I've seen situations where there's not a lot of tornado ingredients, but we continue to see signs that this is mainly just a wind threat. And even right now, the winds right now don't look particularly bad. Definitely going to be 40 to 50, but right now, any 60-mile-per-hour wind gust might be closer to Rocky Point, Pender County, down towards Wilmington. That's kind of where the winds look a little bit stronger. And still, it's winter, water temperature-wise, even though we've been very warm. We do expect things to start to fizzle out a little bit as these storms start to push through. And there's that new severe thunderstorm warning, for the areas we just highlighted, all the way up into Beaufort County. It does include Greenville. Right now, I don't see anything too concerning in Greenville. Now, we may be getting some frontal winds that may be kicking up with that line as well. So we just continue to kind of watch for some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds with an isolated 60 mile per hour wind gust or so. So we will continue to keep an eye on that over the next few hours.
All right, and Zach, again, I do want to again highlight the point that you made just a little bit ago, the crashing in of that cold air from the north. we do know that right now, not all of eastern North Carolina is currently under that severe thunderstorm watch.
Right.
It's really areas along and south of 264 because I believe the meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center, as well as the meteorologists in Newport, both saw, again, the same thing that we're talking about, is that cold air coming in and kind of limiting the northern reach for some of that severe weather potential. So that is kind of being highlighted by other meteorologists, which again only increases our confidence that this is going to be a system that dies out over eastern North Carolina versus builds up over eastern North Carolina. So as we get later and later into the afternoon, things are expecting to, stay wet and stay breezy, but really become a little bit more subdued, become a little bit more calm as we, again, progress towards 4, 5, and 6 p.m. Now, winds obviously are going to remain strong and breezy, but right now we'll call out some of those counties that are currently under that severe thunderstorm warning. We've got Duplin, Onslow, Jones, and Lenoir counties, and then the addition has now added Greene, Pitt, Martin, Beaufort, Northern Craven, and portions of looks like Washington and even Martin County there. So those right now are the areas.
Up to about Edenton.
Up to just
right
south
over Plymouth
Chowan.
to Edenton, south of Edenton.
Yeah, south of Chowan.
Not much of Bertie County.
Yeah. Looks like Bertie County. They tried to draw that line pretty much right on that Martin-Bertie County line. So you're kind of on the cusp there of severe warning to not severe warning. But again, better play it safe than sorry. If you're outside, maybe come inside.
Yeah.
Let these storms pass. And
It
go back
almost
to your
looks like they're
business.
anticipating, because nothing in Pitt County looks severe right now.
It really doesn't.
But this will settle down near Kinston. They may be anticipating as this hits some warmer air, it flares up from Kinston to Washington, maybe into portions of Craven County as well. So maybe being a little proactive. And it's already windy. We've been getting wind gusts, 35, 40 miles per hour. So it's only going to take a small intensity of storms. If they pulse up just enough, we may get some wind gusts, at least in the 50s, maybe closer to 60 miles per hour.
All right, we're going to check in, see if we got any new comments. We've got one from Miss Norman, tornado or something on 17. All right, now not seeing
There's a lot
that.
of dust and pollen being flown around. It's very windy outside, but so far we've not seen anything indicative of a tornado in ENC. But it's still something we can't completely rule out, but everything's been kind of straight line wind looking so far today.
Yeah, it could maybe perhaps be a little dust devil that got spun up just due to all of the dust on the ground.
It's the time of year for them.
It really is. Now, Jessica Sanderson, anything for Carteret County? Right now, you guys are going to be on the tail end of this system. I don't want to count you guys out as far as that severe weather potential is concerned. I do think, again, there is that opportunity for that cell we're seeing over Pender and into Duplin County, possibly trying to pick up on some of that warm air lingering over Carteret, but nothing within, I would say, the next 30 minutes will be hitting Carteret County. So if you, again, are wondering, all right, do I have to do anything in the short term? No. But again, this is certainly a cell that you're going to want to pay attention to, this cell being the one you're seeing over Duplin and Pender counties. That is the one that we've really been focused on so far today, the one that has produced those tornado warnings across not only South Carolina, but even southeastern North Carolina has seen that, that system, again, produce spin in the atmosphere. Now I'm going to step away. I'm going to take a quick little water break for you guys here, and we are going to give you kind of a big picture look at what we have got. I'm going to step away for about 1 minute. We'll be back at around 1:51. Right, welcome back everyone. Again, welcome to severe storm coverage with release at the first alert desk. We continue again to keep an eye on that large downpour, that large storm that is currently right now moving over both Duplin and Pender counties. We're going to move this here so my face isn't really blocking it, but that is the zone right now that we really have our eyes on. It is this guy right there that is the most concerning. Now we also again have some strong little downpours right now moving over portions of Lenoir County heading towards Greene County. Those ones do in fact entail, or at least have a severe thunderstorm warning designation attached to him, but not seeing the same sort of heavy rainfall rates and potential for spin that we have for that system a little bit further down towards the south. So speaking of spin, let's take again another look at your wind speed, direction, basically your storm relative velocity, and we'll zoom it in a little bit closer onto that system. And right now, the good news is it's looking messy. It's looking messy, and that is encouraging because the messier the system looks, the more disorganized it is, and you're not going to be able to get that spin going as quickly. Now, if obviously we do start to see that spin coming together, then that's a problem. But right now, we have actually seen the amount of spin in the atmosphere associated with that system drop. It is decreased. So that again is certainly an encouraging sight, something we hope we continue to see more of. We do still have again this little spot right here, little concern right there, but it's going to take quite a bit more encouragement for that system to really get going into something that could be considered a tornado. Now again, checking in on our severe thunderstorm warnings. Latest warning came down at around 1:44. That was the one that included areas further up towards kind of the northeast. That was for this zone from Craven into northern Lenoir, Greene, Pitt, Beaufort, and even extending all the way up towards Martin and even Washington counties. And now here, if you're watching at home and you're saying, all right, well, Charlie, check that out over Martin County. Looks like we got some bright greens and some reds there. This again, right there, yeah, you could say, all right, we do have some of those bright spots, but they're so close together that there's no real good rotation, a singular rotation. It's like a whole bunch of little spots of rotation all try to come together, but again, they're running into each other, and that creates turbulence and really kind of breaks down the opportunity for the spin to get stronger. Now, of course, I just said that, and the radar sweeps then just got a little bit more impressive, but again, that is an area we'll keep an eye on, but certainly not one, if we actually change it back over to what we are looking at in terms of rainfall. It does, in fact, it is attached to, dang, I was trying to talk myself out of it, and now I'm talking myself into it, is this system right here near Williamston potentially having that tornadic potential attached to it. Right now, National Weather Service has not indicated that is something of high concern, at least compared to that system a little bit further to the south, but we want to again draw it to your attention. For those of you watching in Williamston or even southern Bertie County along Highway 17, that's a system again, does not have a tornado warning attached to it, but it is a severe thunderstorm right now, and it again does have what looks to be like a small amount of instability and even some spin. That's more what we're looking for, is that spin. It's really kind of this spot. Now, if this spot right here, the one I just circled, was actually over this spot right here, I would be more concerned. And a big reason why, we'll do the switch over for you, and you can see that spot I just circled, well, okay, now, oh, shoot. Each time I do this, the radar updates and it moves all the data off to the west. So if there were to be a tornado out of this system, it would likely occur down in kind of the southwestern corner of that system, given the direction of movement with these cells. Right now, if I keep that that circle up on your screen will now turn to our storm relative velocity, and that's where, again, we do still see that green and red next to each other. Now, again, that is not a clean couplet. That is not something that would make me jump out and say, oh, shoot, there's a tornado on the ground. But that does at least give me some pause. It gives me pause, and it says, all right, there is at least some spin trying to occur in the atmosphere. It may not be successful right now, but that's certainly a system we're going to want to keep a closer eye on. Talked a lot about that one. Let's zoom it back out, and we'll get back to our storm system a little bit further down towards the south. And we'll actually get our rainfall rates back up there, and here we can drag our attention back down to that big guy over Duplin, and now actually moving into Onslow County. Let's see if we can bring that in a little bit. Now, I'm going to check in over on Facebook. What about Aiden Grifton from Jennifer Rice? Jennifer, saw this, do apologize, sent that about 6 minutes ago. Aiden Grifton, you guys are going to be experiencing, well, you probably are right now experiencing some of those gusty winds, severe weather threat. You are currently under a severe warned system, but I'm not seeing anything particular for Aiden and Grifton that would really scream damaging wind gusts. Let's actually zoom it in a little bit closer onto that Aiden Grifton area. And right now, again, light rain showers coming down. The problem is this guy right here, this guy. And that guy is going to be moving right like that, right between Aiden and Grifton. So when that guy moves overhead, you will notice, again, you'll hear the heavier rainfall rates. You may experience some stronger winds, but for right now, that is not a system that is currently showing any sort of tornadic threat to it. Now let's go to some other comments from Facebook here. Anything for Carteret County? Nothing for Carteret County. Limbs falling down in Greenville. That's from Angela Smith. Thank you so much, Angela. Hopefully, again, those limbs did not land on anything at your house or do any damage. Jerry, yeah, it's just windy and heavy rain here. Good to hear. Love hearing that, especially in these types of situations. Elisa Morgan in Williamston, and it seemed like a small tornado just went through. Elisa, that was likely the gust front. Straight line winds blasting their way through due to the heavy rainfall that is coming down and bringing that air down from the upper levels of the atmosphere. That, again, can create some very strong winds, and it sounds very intense, like a tornado. Now, Deborah Steiner, we had rotation in Greenville near Allen Road and Dickinson. Due to the extension, I have not seen that on our radar picture as of yet, but you know what? We'll give that a look. We'll give that a look. That's why we are here, to make sure that we can kind of highlight these things. Storm relative velocity, and again, not really seeing anything that would indicate spin back towards, again, that area just like kind of on the west side of Greenville there. So I don't doubt that, again, there was possibly some spin down at ground level. The good news is that spin has not extended up towards the bottoms of the clouds. Let's see if we've got some other comments. Lots of downed trees and power lines in Bertie County. That's from David White. David, appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us. Halifax County from Elma Pittman. Elma, you guys are right now kind of seeing the worst of it that you will see for today. I think actually the worst of it is actually occurring down across Duplin and Pender County. But let's zoom it. Oh, now I just zoomed way too far out. Charlie getting wild with the zooms here. But right now, yeah, Halifax County. What was the other one? Halifax County. And right now, north end of Halifax, you're seeing, again, some heavy rainfall rates, but not seeing anything that would really scream severe weather. In Halifax County, your guys' air temperatures right now down quite a bit. Let's actually, we'll stop this, and we'll actually get you guys your air temperatures, because this does do a very good job of kind of highlighting who has the severe weather potential and who does not. And once those air temperatures drop down into the 60s and certainly into the 50s, your severe weather potential hits the floor. You're pretty much done, because that cold air stabilizes the environment, stabilizes the atmosphere, and eliminates that opportunity for severe storms to get going. Now, as you can see, if I were to move, there we go, Kenansville, Kinston, Greenville, Rocky Mount, Goldsboro, Roanoke Rapids, Ahoskie, Elizabeth City, those areas I just mentioned, likelihood of seeing severe weather, at least at this point, down significantly from where we were just about an hour ago. Now, we do have another hour worth of coverage to give to you guys for this system, but this again is very encouraging. Now, if you're watching in Jacksonville, New Bern, Washington, Oriental, Swan Quarter, Beaufort, Pelletier, Havelock, Maysville, Trenton, even the Chinquapin area, you guys are still exposed to, again, a little bit of that severe weather potential, but things are improving. Let's go back to your storm relative velocity to get another idea where potential spin is in the atmosphere. And again, not seeing a whole lot there. It does look like, again, that is some broad spin that we've got right there on the Onslow County, Duplin County line. You'll note again, usually what we look for are spots, 2 spots right next to each other, one green, one red, right next to each other. There you've got 2 blobs, 2 big blobs close together. So while it does look like there could be some very, very broad rotation in the atmosphere, that is not tight enough to suggest that any sort of tornado could be touching down anytime soon from that system. Now let's take a look again at what else we have. We'll take our attention. We'll shift it a little bit further northward, going slowly. Here we go. We've got some bright spots of green, yes, but not really seeing any sort of bright spots of red to go with it. Again, remember, it's 2. You got to have 2. One green, one red. If you only have one, you really only have raindrops accelerating in the same direction at a very fast rate in just one little spot. We'll continue to draw our attention further and further northward. Again, you're seeing more of those spots of strong winds. The brighter those colors are, whether they're green or red, that is an indicator of faster raindrop movement. That's what the radar is doing. The dual pole radar is monitoring how fast those drops are moving and which direction those drops are moving. The faster they go, the brighter the colors are. Now let's take our attention further up towards the north across portions of Bertie County, and that's when things certainly start to get a little bit messy. We will step away for just one moment. We'll be back in 1 minute. All right, we did just get an update from the newsroom. We've got 17,869 homes and or businesses without power right now in North Carolina. And unfortunately, Pitt County is one of the worst with 676 outages. There's 103 in Beaufort County and 40 outages in Duplin County. Again, the strong wind gusts that we are seeing, highlighted by the wind speed and direction, your storm relative velocity, is indicating we do have certainly some spurts of very strong winds. We will zoom it in a little bit closer onto those areas right now, particularly over southern Pitt County is where we're seeing a lot of those bright spots, but they do even extend over portions of Washington in Beaufort County. So as we progress through today, again, some of these wind gusts could knock out power for some. It's not going to be an everywhere thing, but we have had reports from those of you on Facebook who are joining us. Oh man, and it does look like our stream on Facebook ended. Shoot. Well, darn. We are going to, again, try to get that back up and running because, again, we did have quite a bit of activity on there. And, again, I'd like to be reachable for all. So you give me a few moments. We'll get that Facebook feed up and going again. For right now, we will put a loop of the radar up along with what we've got in terms of warnings. It does look like, again, the severe thunderstorm warning has been extended across Onslow County, now includes the southern portion of Jones County, most of central and southern Craven County, and then the western section of Carteret County. We'll step away for just one moment, and we will be back once that Facebook stream is up and running again. All right, welcome back, everyone. I do apologize. Unfortunately, I'm having trouble getting that Facebook stream back up and going, but we do have some new numbers to share with you about power outages across parts of eastern North Carolina. Martin County now again joining the ranks with 1,625 outages. Again, that is for Martin County. We have had a plethora of outage reports come into the newsroom, and again, going to be experiencing most likely several more before the day is done. Wind speeds still quite strong, but the good news is that tornadic threat continues to diminish as these storms gradually start to weaken as they move over the east. But right now, we've got our eyes on this cell. I'm going to zoom it in a little bit closer, and you guys can see this is the one that has been the most concerning so far today, and right now moving directly over the Richlands area in northern Onslow County. Comfort in Jones County. You guys again are experiencing some heavy downpours as well. This is coming with, again, quite a bit of wind. Strong winds out of that cell. Here is a look at your storm relative velocity, and here is the problem. We have got a small couplet there that looks like it is trying to spin up into something that could possibly resemble a tornado. Right here, this circulation is still very broad, but it does look like those winds are trying to at least rotate around a singular point. Right now, it's again a broad rotation, but it's one that we are going to continue to keep you updated on. Right now, no active tornado warnings. However, we do still have the severe thunderstorm warning down across, it looks like more of Pender County extending all the way down towards Brunswick County, and even New Hanover County, I would assume, is included in that as well. That is a severe thunderstorm warning that's still, again, showing that tornadic potential attached to it, that red outline. But right now, again, the main concern is over northern Onslow County. This is a system that will continue to work its way further northward towards, I would say, Maysville, and potentially clipping possibly New Bern and the River Bend area in central Craven County. Let's see what else we have out there across eastern North Carolina. Going to zoom it out a little bit further. And again, for those of you wondering, all right, I'm not in Onslow County, but I'm still feeling some of those strong wind gusts. Say you're watching from Martin County or Pitt County or even Beaufort County. Those areas, again, have seen numerous power outages. Again, in Martin County, well over 1,500 power outages, and that has to do with those bright spots you're seeing on the screen. Those are basically raindrops that are measured by the radar site accelerating across eastern North Carolina. Let's zoom it in, and I'm actually going to try to give you guys a reading on some of these. Let's see if we can get our query tool, and here we go. We'll go for this system, just kind of outside of, it's not exactly what I was hoping to get. Obviously, there is that severe thunderstorm warning. We will erase that guy, and we'll see if we can get some other information popping up here. What I really want to do is try to get the speed of, or at least the projected speed of some of those raindrops. And right now, it does not look like, let's see, does that do it? Okay, here we go. Estimated velocity right now for, let's get that spot again. We're gonna do, here, I'm gonna first circle the zone. Here we go. We're gonna go for this guy right here. Very bright, and we are going to read off. We're gonna get that spot right there. And this spot, according to radar, currently has a velocity of about 55 miles per hour. Some of those other spots, we'll highlight another one for you guys to give you guys. We'll go over. Go to this one right here, just south of Chocowinity near Highway 17. That spot there where we're seeing again those bright colors, that velocity is 56 miles per hour. Now, of course, these are radar estimates, but highlight the intensity of these winds as they move across eastern North Carolina. If your raindrops are moving that fast, guess what? Your winds are moving that fast as well, because that's the only way those raindrops get going that quickly. Now, elsewhere in eastern North Carolina, let's zoom the picture back out a little bit further, and we can see again we still have severe thunderstorm warnings stretching pretty much across the region. Right now, Craven County is completely included within that a severe thunderstorm warn zone. We've got western Carteret counties, Pamlico County, you guys are now included. The remainder of Beaufort County that had been left out. Areas kind of more on the eastern side of Beaufort County, you guys are now under that severe thunderstorm warning, as is most of Hyde County, certainly the western half of Dare County, all of Terrell County, and the remainder portion of Washington County. So we've had several of these severe thunderstorm warnings pop up. Wind gusts right now, very strong. The good news is we have not yet seen an active tornado warning, going to knock on wood, over eastern North Carolina specifically. We had one tornado warning earlier, and that was over Columbus and Brunswick counties, further down closer towards Cape Fear. But since that point, we have not seen any tornadic systems here in eastern North Carolina. But, you know, we are going to continue to broadcast this for you guys so you guys can stay safe and stay aware of the dangerous weather that is occurring throughout the area. Now let's take a look and see what we have got rainfall-wise across the east. That area again over Duplin and Jones County, that's where we are still seeing some of the heaviest rainfall rates. And just as I say that, the National Weather Service reissues that severe thunderstorm warning for that zone. But the zone that we had previously mentioned and talked about, a severe thunderstorm warning that had that tornadic potential, that has now expired. So for now, the Weather Service is kind of seeing this how we're seeing this, in that we're not anticipating, at least in the near term, anything tornadic coming out of this system. I think the threat of severe weather will really start to come down over, I would say, 3 o'clock to 3:30. We are going to be staying live with you right here on the First Alert Desk until we are all clear. For right now, though, we still have active severe thunderstorm warnings up for most of eastern North Carolina, save for right now, looks like Bertie County and eastern sections of Dare, Hyde, and Carteret counties, and of course the Outer Banks. Those are the areas right now that are not in that severe thunderstorm warned zone. Do want to mention Edgecombe, Nash, Wilson, Wayne, and Duplin counties are currently out of that severe thunderstorm warned zone. So for you guys, again, further back towards I-95, congratulations, you've made your way through the worst of it. Hopefully you were able to maintain power through these strong wind gusts and strong storms. As far as what we've got moving forward, let's take a look and see. We'll show you guys again how this is all going to progress. First, let's get, here we go. Here again is another hour-by-hour look at how everything again is going to be playing out. We'll put this into motion and you can see, all right, here's a picture by the time we get to around 3 o'clock. And still seeing again some heavy downpours. We still have some reds on the screen. We still have some dark reds on the screen, indicating heavier rainfall rates and higher danger. But as that whole system progresses further eastward, it does look like we are going to be seeing a lot of those raindrops slowly fade away and weaken as they approach the Atlantic. We're going to step away for just one moment so we can again get you guys the latest information as far as the power outages go across eastern North Carolina. All right, welcome back everyone. Again, I do want to apologize for again stepping away briefly, but we do have some pictures I would like to share with you guys here. Here is a look at what we have got. Here, let's see if we can drag this down here. I want to show you guys again some pictures that we had sent in from, let's see if I can get you guys who actually sent these in. This is from Mary LaMonica. He is a general manager at Ironwood. He said they had weather like a tornado touch down at Ironwood and gave us again some of the pictures. Here you can see that tree there that has been completely flattened. Completely flattened. That is, I mean, just look at that thing. That thing is destroyed. And again, it's one, while we did not have an actual tornado touch down, the straight line winds that we had certainly strong enough to create that type of damage. And we also again have, looks like the driving range at Ironwood. ball collectors are going to have themselves a bit of a task trying to pick up all of that mess out there. But again, let's turn you back towards your radar picture. I do want to again say thank you to Mary LaMonica for again sharing those pictures with us. Sincerely appreciate that. It's always good to get some observations from down on the ground. And actually, there's one thing I actually missed on this. I looked at the balls, completely missed the fact. Look at the tree behind there. The tree cracked at the base, blown completely over. I was looking at the balls all tipped over and didn't even see the tree that was also blown over. So again, that is a very, very strong wind gust. We have had wind estimates upwards around 50, 55 miles an hour radar estimates from these wind speeds, and well, that would be enough to potentially create that type of damage. So again, big thank you to Mary LaMonica and of course her dad at Ironwood for sending these pictures in. We sincerely appreciate it. Hopefully again your Miss LaMonica's dad doesn't have too much work to do after these storms stop, but it looks like there will certainly be a bit of cleanup across eastern North Carolina. Let's get back to your radar picture, and again, here is what we've got currently. And I drag this down here, and we're going to close that. Let's see if we can bring up my control again for the radar. We're zoomed out quite a bit. Let's zoom it back in, and we can see right now Jones County and even portions of Onslow County still receiving kind of the worst of that system. Still a severe thunderstorm warned cell. We'll take a look at your storm relative velocity, and while we are still seeing quite a few of those spots, the red spot, that red zone, still looking very broad. But what we don't want to see, again, this is not encouraging. This is not encouraging. Here, I'm going to try to draw on here what exactly I am looking at and talking about here. But you can see just this line up and zoop and up and out like that. Those kind of stepped lines, that's air trying to inject itself into that line of storms, into that storm system itself. And it's that injection that will eventually create that spin potential. Trying to draw some arrows for you guys, but that's essentially how that spin starts to get set up like that. So whenever we see kind of that broken stair-like pattern, that's when, again, red flags go up saying, all right, this is a signature we do not like to see. And just like that, they have now issued a tornado warning for that cell. They were looking at the same thing I was, and now we again do have a tornado warning right now for Onslow County as well as Jones County and Craven County. In this, again, we're going to check on the details here and give you guys the latest on this. But this, again, just popped up. Tornado warning for, again, Onslow, Craven County, and Jones County until 3 p.m. And you can see that bright spot. It has gotten significantly brighter. This is that zone. That is a zone, but then we also have this secondary spot right here. So there may be multiple opportunities for rotation out of this singular cell, but it's that first one that is more concerning to me than the one that's a little bit further south. There you can see again, that is significant rotation, and it is heading towards Maysville. So for those of you in Jones County, understand that you right now are under a tornado warning, and if you are watching in the Maysville area or maybe just north of Maysville, now would be the time to get into your safe spot. Now again, those of you, I would say from Ravenswood down to Maysville, along kind of Highway 17 and areas around there, I would suggest please get into your safe spot now. This is the system, again, that is has a trajectory heading kind of between New Bern and Havelock, may end up around the Thurman area in Craven County. That's a ways out. Those of you, again, watching in Craven County, while you guys are under that tornado warning, I don't think you will at this point need to get in your safe spot, but those of you in Jones County, again, between Maysville and Ravenswood, need to be into your safe spot as we speak. We have highlighted that zone for you on your screen. That is the spot that this has been the most impressive tornadic signature we have seen so far in North Carolina today, at least from my perspective. And this is, again, one that we really want to highlight that it is dangerous. There is a lot of danger with this. Let's take a look at what we are seeing as far as radar goes. Not seeing any hook echo, but with this type of system and this type of rain, not surprising that we're not seeing, again, a hook echo out of that system. But you can see, here I'm going to draw it on the screen again for you guys, just that kind of stepped pattern along with some of those heavier downpours, and that is where that air flows in. That's that air intake that can really create that spin potential fairly easily. So whenever we see that, it's a red flag, and you know, as we mentioned, here it is, creating that that tornadic potential across Jones and Onslow County. Those of you obviously in Onslow County, right now, if you're watching, let's see, I want to get my areas right. If you're watching from Pumpkin Center or anywhere westward, you guys are going to be fine. You're past this system. Well, this system is beyond you and heading away. But those of you around Morton Fork, Belgrade, Maysville, and then obviously Maysville in Jones County, but even Chadwick in Jones County, get into your safe spot. This is certainly a fairly sizable system. This is the system, again, that we've been talking about all day long, is the one that has that potential for creating severe weather, and that's exactly what it is doing. So let's get back to your storm relative velocity. Unfortunately, it does look like that signature has only gotten brighter, and you can see just how it wants to swirl around that point. That is not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. That is your spot. Again, if you are in Maysville, please get to your safe spot now. We want to, again, give you guys the earliest alert possible. If you're just joining us, please get to your safe spot if you are watching in Maysville. May have to stay there for about 15, 20 minutes, maybe 25, but it's better safe than sorry. Get into your safe spot now. This is a system, again, we'll get you some of the details off of this system. It is, let's see, it is moving east-northeast at about 60 to 65 miles an hour. So it is a fast-moving system. And again, it does look like we also have Chief Meteorologist Zach Holder, who is up as well, talking about this system. We're going to let him talk about it. I'm going to get a quick drink of water and kind of gather some notes here, and then we will be back with more coverage right here on the First Alert desk. But for right now, going to leave you guys with Chief Meteorologist Zach Holder, who is standing by with more.
Ravenwood Drive, Hillcrest Road, Homestead Lane, Gibson Branch Road, probably already passed you, but you don't need to leave your safe spot just yet. Again, this is going to push off into the National Forest after it crosses Highway 17, gets through Maysville and Pollocksville, but it's just not a great signature for straight line winds and even a brief tornado that we may not even be able to detect on radar because, excuse my noise, I'm going to move my table a little bit closer so I can kind of stay on screen and talk about what we're seeing. From the National Weather Service, Roger Martin, great radar operator. Rotation has tightened just west of Maysville, concerned about potential for a tornado to quickly develop in that area over the next 15 to 30 minutes. Also seeing some rotation near Pollocksville. We talked about that. For New Bern, the strongest rotation looks like it will pass over the southern part of the city through the James City area. That's kind of what we were talking about as well. But anywhere from New Bern southward just needs to be in your tornado safe spot just in case, because These little notches, they spin up really, really quick. Not really a tornado day, but enough of a concern that we'll just have to watch it as these winds have picked up enough that winds move at different speeds. So anytime, you don't really need a great tornado day. That's why we never really like to fully roll one out. But when winds move fast enough in one area, that creates its own spin. And as those winds slow down, they kind of wrap in on themselves, and that's where we're seeing these notches along Highway 17. South of Maysville, looks like just some strong severe storm winds. I don't see any rotation that way. This is going to be now pushing east of Pollocksville. In Maysville on Q, we just got a new radar scan. Maybe not as many notches, but kind of hard to tell. We're close to the radar site. That's down in Newport. So we're getting really good radar data close to the ground, which is how we detect these quick spin-up tornadoes the best way possible. Pollocksville area, strong winds overhead. The tornado threat's probably past you, but you're still probably getting some damaging wind gusts. Definitely some heavy rain. River Bend, you're borderline, even a little bit of spin. It's hard to tell on some of these notches. So if you're in this alert, if you got an alert on your phone or you're watching us and you're in this red polygon, you need to be in your tornado safe spot. New Bern, I'd go ahead and tell you to get in your safe spot just in case something happens here. We're not able to get a good warning out on real quick. Let's switch to debris. I think we would get something if there was something on the ground. And I'll loop this to see if we can get a better idea if there's anything that's been popping up. You would see, now there's some noise right here. It doesn't look anything definitive that I would call a tornado, but the darker these colors get, the more indication there would be a tornado on the ground or had been on the ground doing damage. Anything right now that I'm seeing just seems a little too subtle. There's something there near Pollocksville. I don't see anything that would indicate there is a tornado on the ground with this, and I believe the warning is still radar indicated for a tornado, which means we don't have confirmation on this. But again, there's a really strong straight line of winds. If you stand out there, and I don't encourage you to stand out and try to see if the winds are spinning or if they're going in the same direction. These are some really strong straight line winds that are pushing through. Now over Pollocksville, over Maysville, the next couple of minutes, this threat will have passed you. They've even trimmed the tornado warning now to, I think it included some parts of Jacksonville. Looks like they've kind of taken that out, I think. So anywhere behind this line, your severe threat should be done or wrapping up. But again, just seeing little notches in the line, maybe not as pronounced as they were earlier. Strongest winds are going to be just outside of Maysville to the east-northeast, and then heading up to the north, Pollocksville area. Right, this kind of gray line, that's where your notches are going to be. That's where your tornado threat's going to be. And then behind that, through all these colors that are the same color, whether it's green or bright green, that's where your tornado threat is going to be the highest. And that's where you're going to be dealing with the best chance for straight line wind damage. Along that leading edge where you get the winds to push out ahead, and then as they slow down, they start to quickly wrap up. That's going to be your immediate tornado threat. Now over River Bend, straight line winds pushing into New Bern. So I don't see a tornado threat for New Bern right now. We'll watch this area, especially right down here, but especially if you're downtown or on the western side of New Bern, back near the Large Harris Teeter, that area, stay away from windows just in case, because we've been getting some strong wind gusts. We've been getting 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts from non-severe storms that we had in other parts of the area. This could at least be 65, maybe pushing 70 miles per hour, especially where it gets a little bit brighter in here. This is another little notch that we'll have to watch. And you can have rotation. Doesn't mean we have a tornado. Just means it's trying to form a tornado. And this is where your area would be the greatest concern. What is that? Hillcrest Road? Near Catfish Lake Road, that would be Hill Creek Road, as this starts to push into the National Forest. Seeing if we have any update. National Weather Service agrees whether we have a tornado or not. Radar showing potential for very strong winds as high as 70 to 80. So they're going higher than what I was imagining. So very, very serious situation. You need to stay away from windows, whether we're talking straight line winds or we're talking spinning tornadoes. They do the same amount of damage. It just depends on which way the wind's blowing. But again, this warning still radar indicated. We don't have a definitive. Once this gets past Pollocksville, Dirtworks Grading Company, Island Creek Road, that's where I'd be concerned about. Bryce's Creek area, and then all the way to the airport, James City. the construction zone that goes on pretty much once you get off the bridge and on Highway 70 as you head down towards the coast. That's where this is all going to be headed, and probably the next area we need to keep an eye on. But right now, it just kind of looks like very, very strong winds. And I agree, I was thinking around 70, but I would not be surprised based on some of the wind gusts we've had with things that haven't been looking impressive on radar at all, if we have some wind gusts closer to 75, 80 miles per hour possible. Still not seeing anything there on our debris tracker that would indicate a tornado, but we will keep a close eye on it. Scanning that entire line, looking for something that shouldn't be there. So all this purple you're seeing, that's rain. We know what raindrops look like. They're in the sides. They can be small raindrops, big raindrops. The radar is going to know those are raindrops. When we start to get the greens and a very consistent signal of blues, that's usually when we know, okay, something's in the air that's not supposed to be there. We see that turn color for smoke. We see it turn colors for birds. That just lets us know something way too big is in the air. Obviously, in this situation, if we see that, it wouldn't be birds, it wouldn't be smoke. It would be a tornado causing damage. So Bryce's Creek area, anywhere east of Pollocksville, I believe Island Creek Road goes all the way up, in terms of the county line road, as you head towards Highway 70. That area really needs to keep a close eye on what we're tracking, as that's where the threat could be the strongest. And again, this is moving fast. This is already almost halfway across from Highway 17 to Highway 70. So anywhere from Black Swamp Road up to Catfish Lake Road, still seeing a notch. This may be the more impressive notch so far today, but when we match that up with debris, not quite seeing any type of signature for an immediate tornado, but still trying. Any little notch in this line is definitely going to be something trying to spin up. For New Bern area, straight line of winds. Don't really see a notch that's too concerning right now. They're east of Riverbend. Maybe a small one right there, but this mainly looks like straight line winds that will continue to push off to the east northeast. And again, the storm system's moving quick, the cell is, so you're not going to have to worry about this long. But until this passes you, and that includes anyone from New Bern down to Trent Woods, maybe even close to the northern Havelock bypass. Havelock, you are in this tornado warning. For the most part, I think this would pass at or north of Cherry Point, closer to Deuce Forest, but you're definitely still going to be in the pathway of this potential line of severe storms, whether it's straight line winds or potential tornado. But right here, this is where I'm a little more concerned about something trying to spin up. McMullen area, over towards Island Creek Road, and then we start to get into more heavily populated area. Here's Riverbend. Here's Highway 43, the old Highway 17. I believe this is where, somewhere in here, they're building the new kind of connector to go from Highway 17 down to Highway 43, but definitely some straight line winds. We do not have a camera in this area that we can access. Dustin, if you can turn the Neuse River camera, I don't think you would have to, if you could turn it as far right as you can before it's blocked by something.
As far right.
Because it's about right here. So at some point we might see something, but it's still got a ways to go. It needs to cross Highway 70 before we get a clean look at it. And let me know when that's ready, and I can kind of have them take it. Did you say it's ready?
Ready, go ahead.
If in the back, if we can pull up the Neuse River cam just to get a quick look at it as a new radar scan comes in. They're going to work on that for us while we continue to look at this new scan. A lot of straight line winds. These are some pretty gnarly winds coming in. This is going to cause power outages. And again, this was a very narrow strip of where this severe weather environment's set up. And this is where the issues this morning started to present themselves, from kind of Onslow, Duplin County, all the way up to Craven County was our greatest concern for any type of severe weather. Still some notches right there. There's a little something, maybe some broad rotation trying to show up, but definitely just straight line winds. Be off the highways, Highway 70, traffic's moving north to south or south to north. The wind's going to be hitting you at a right angle, and that's going to cause some issues, especially for 18-wheelers. So if you know anybody, of course they've been clearing a lot of those trees, but there's still one section that has a lot of trees. You may even get some trees over the highway here as that line pushes through. They'd be falling west to east, so the southbound lanes may be impacted more than the northbound lanes, but still expecting this to just be a gnarly line of wind all the way down to county line, really, near Havelock, Here's the new bypass around Havelock, so not quite there, but it's going to be there pretty quick. And there's a lot of trees closer to the highway there, so that could cause some down tree issues. But if you're listening to this or watching on your phone, make sure you're pulling over. Just let this pass. Anything else we need to know about, Dustin?
There we go. Microphone's on. Not really seeing much of anything. They're watching, again, like you said, the Trent Woods area through Havelock. That risk right there would be the winds to be watching out for. But there's no other update from the Weather Service. This warning goes until 3 p.m.
I'm not missing any more warnings, am I?
No, not seeing anything.
Okay, we'll reset real quick just so you can kind of get an idea of what we're watching. This is going to be the greatest concern. The storm cell that's been moving out of Pender County, Duplin County. There's just a narrow strip of a really good severe weather environment. It's taken up 2-3 counties. Now, we've got strong winds in other spots. We're even see this line here in the severe thunderstorm warning perk up a little bit, but that's going to be your straight line wind threat. The only spot I'm concerned about a quick tornado is going to be right down here where this tornado warning is. And as it starts to approach Pamlico County, you may want to keep an eye on this. As it starts to approach the Sound, I think water temperatures are cold enough to where this may weaken, but even Hyde County, Beaufort County, we'll keep an eye on this as it continues to move off to the northeast pretty quick. And it's on the tail end. Notice there's not a whole lot of interference down here. It's kind of just one cell that is by far stronger than anything else we have in the area right now. That's probably allowing this to wrap up a little bit more. Even right there, you can see, if I pause this, right in here, you just see a little bit of a notch there that's even on the radar you can clearly see. For Pitt County, just rain coming down new, I believe. Is that a new tornado warning? Is that the same tornado warning? I believe that's the same tornado warning.
Yeah.
But again, Havelock, yeah, if we had the news camera, if we can pull that up and show that. So got some heavy rain, definitely some heavy rain pushing through. It's hard to really see anything due to just how heavy some of that rain is. Let's go back to radar. There we go. If you can move that a little bit more to the left, Dustin, we'll check back in on that. I don't think we're going to see anything as it's in the heavy rain right now, and by the time it clears out, the area that we're watching is going to be long gone. So I don't think that camera is going to be any use over the next few minutes, but still really nice little notch right there. A lot of wind energy with this, which we knew severe threat today would be very localized, and this is very localized. For this stronger cell that's really going to be the main problem today is right in this area. Everywhere else, you may be getting some strong wind gusts. We had some in Pitt County that did a little bit of disruption, but they were mostly below 60 miles per hour and even below severe limits. But right through here, any of these winds right through here, these are going to cause some issues a little bit more on a widespread scale. They're strong enough. This is kind of peak severe weather for us around here. This little line stretching from north of Havelock, now east, southeast really, of the New Bern area as we continue to keep a close eye on just what's falling across the area. Just doing a quick scan of the rest of the area, make sure I'm not missing anything. Definitely still some very windy conditions. Wind gusts, even if they're not associated with storms and rain, are getting up around 40 to 45 miles per hour, occasionally isolated up around 50. But this is where you have the threat for at least 60 to 80 mile per hour straight line wind gusts, regardless if there's a tornado or not. That's where your worst issues are going to be. And you said this warning goes till how long?
Till 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock. So we got 16 more minutes. And this is, sometimes we talk about how we think they're going to cancel these early. I don't think this is one they're going to cancel early, unless it just falls apart. Though it is starting to overrun. We'll see if they issue a new one. It is starting to overrun that tornado warning on the north side now that it's past New Bern. So here is the bridge that you cross, so you get the nice view of downtown New Bern. Here's where the speed limit drops to 45, and then Highway 55 splits off and goes over into Pamlico County. So this is now approaching, getting closer to Pamlico County, if not already there. So we will have to watch anywhere from Bayboro southward towards Arapahoe area. We'll have to watch for the chance of a quick spin-up tornado as well. There's just these too many little zigs and zags in this line to just be comfortable with this just being straight line of winds. Though so far, still have not seen anything indicative that we've had a tornado, but we will wait and see if we get any damage reports. You can still see straight line wind threat, Havelock, not too concerned about a tornado. That can change pretty quick, but you need to be in your tornado safe spot just because of the power of some of these straight line winds. That's probably getting pretty close to the new bypass by now. If you live west of Havelock, you're probably already very close, if not under some of the heaviest of the rain with this cell. This line of storms pushing through. But as you get to Havelock, you're still kind of in the area where it may not be doing much, but it's about to. Give it another probably 5 to 10 minutes at the most, probably 5 to 7 minutes at the most, before you're probably going to be underneath some really intense thunderstorm news force as well. This is probably right over you. I think the next scan will either bring this kind of right over Highway 70 or already past it. This is where they are doing all the clearing out of the trees. They're moving the Forest Service office back a little bit for future I-42 projects to make it a freeway versus just a divided highway. But the wind is quickly approaching the Highway 70 corridor, if not already over it. So stay away from windows, whether it's a tornado or not. These straight line winds look pretty serious, not something we get all the time here. Every once in a while, and definitely the 80s and 90s we've had the past couple of days have helped get us a little bit more into severe weather season than I think we would have been if it hadn't been so warm over the past week or so. This is a really strong cold front coming in as well. A little notch right there. We'll keep a close eye. That's near Harbor Point Drive. Moving towards the Lee, what is that? Lee Landing Road. This is Highway 306, I believe, that heads down towards the ferry site with the Neuse River. So it's hard to find the river on here. It's right through here. Here's the Neuse River. There's Minnesota Beach. There's Neuse Forest. Cherry Point's kind of at the bottom of your screen. So anywhere we see these little notches is where we're still concerned about a quick spin up tornado. And did they cancel the tornado?
They trimmed out
they
the
trimmed
one.
it.
Yeah, trimmed just for including Craven County now.
Okay.
Yes.
About a few minutes ago, National Weather Service, Rogers said, we continue to get multiple reports of 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts along this line of showers. They're moving through. They've also received multiple reports of wind damage. That makes sense. What is this? 64 mile per hour wind gusts reported at the airport in New Bern, James City?
That's what it's saying.
Yeah, that's a pretty strong wind gust. That'll do some damage, and that's just at the airport. That's not, down the rest of the line. We only get kind of snippets of actual wind gusts when we're dealing with these storms. We kind of just, based on radar a lot of the time, but to get ground truth, 64 mile per hour wind gusts, that's going to cause some trees down, some branches down, and probably stronger than that, somewhere in the line. The airport sits, where are we at? Up around here, I believe, on the map. So it's not even into the strongest winds that were showing up down to the south. There's pretty strong winds there south of James City as you leave that construction zone and head into the next construction zone. Some very high winds over the forest, National Forest right now, that will be moving into Havelock next. And looks like that tornado warning will continue all the way till 3 o'clock for the next 12 minutes or so. It does look like they did issue a new tornado warning now, all the way down close to the Carteret County line. So we'll take a look at that.
And that'll go until 3:15.
3:15. So it's a little bit shorter, about a 30-minute tornado warning, which is pretty standard when we're talking about these quick wrap-up tornadoes versus tornadoes we expect to be on the ground long. Usually these tornado warnings don't last the full 45 minutes to an hour that the more serious tornado warnings can. But we can still get some pretty quick spin-ups that are just really hard to predict there along Highway 70. I think the worst of this looks like it's going to stay on or north of the Neuse River. So Carteret County, extreme southern county, don't know if you're going to be under a tornado threat. There is a tornado warning, but some of this may stay north. All of it might stay north of the Neuse River and kind of move towards Bayboro, Oriental, Aurora, Beaufort County. And then as it starts to get into Hyde and Dare County, see this line right here? That's the cold front. That's that colder air. So we should start to see this, hopefully, the intensity of it, because it's been by far our strongest storm of the day, start to wind down just a little bit. As that cold front interacts with it, it should start to lose that severe weather environment. And this is a sharp cold front. It's not like it's taken 30 minutes to an hour for temperatures to drop 10 degrees. You get an immediate 10 to 20 degree drop as soon as that cold front finds you. And if you haven't felt it, step outside unless you're in the tornado warning and you can feel it for yourself. It's a pretty sharp and noticeable cold front that's going to be dropping through. But New Bern, this is now for the most part getting past you. We will see if they trim that old warning. It's about 10 minutes left. They may end up canceling it early just for the fact that it's moving out of that old area, but still some very intense winds. The radar site's right here. So this is usually when we get colors like this, we're 70, 80, 90, 100 miles away from the radar site. We're about 20 at the most from where the radar site is to where these winds are. So these are some very, very strong winds. And then you're going to get these little notches down this line to where some quick spin up tornadoes are possible. Even if we don't see them very well, since radar's not continuous, it's almost like taking a picture every so often to give us the best look at a storm. If it's not detecting that tornado while it's happening, then it may miss it. So, so far, I've not seen anything too indicative of a tornado, but it's probably going to come down to some damage surveys with this one to really determine if we saw any type of tornado with it. But again, doesn't really matter. Straight line of winds that spin really fast in a small area. This is going to cause some damage just from straight line of winds alone. Wind is wind. When it's moving this strong, it's going to cause issues. Got something, Dustin?
Yeah, so it's moving about 50 miles to the east, heading towards Olympia and Riverdale. And again, this is radar indicated.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Let's check in on Havelock. I want to check in on the southern part of this. And there's still a little line right here. You can see why they extended this tornado warning as far south as they did. On radar, just looking at the red and where the rain's the heaviest, the worst is by far to the north. But when you look at the winds, we have this line that extends all the way down to where that tornado warning stops. So you can certainly see why they issued that tornado warning as far south as they did. But right now, looking pretty straight. Don't really see any wobbles or any little quick spin up areas as of right now. Doesn't mean it's not possible and it can't redevelop. But closer we get to the coast, I think the severe weather environment falls off a little bit compared to where it is in that narrow strip from roughly Pender, Onslow, Duplin to where it is now over the New Bern area. So we've got one warning that goes for another 8 minutes. That one's about done just because it's moving out of the area. Havelock area, you're going to have the highest threat from that original tornado warning, and then the new tornado warning, zoom up a little bit, maybe a little bit more of a wobble. Don't really see anything that looks definitively like a tornado, but definitely still some very strong winds. Anytime we get into these blue colors, we're talking winds minimum 60 miles per hour, and that's probably going to be pushing 70, 75 in some areas. Still very windy over New Bern, despite the leading edge of this has still passed. So New Bern still going to be dealing with some straight line wind threat for a little bit longer before winds start to relax. Bayboro, you're still ahead of both the tornado threat and the straight line wind threat. Down towards Arapahoe, down towards the ferry, you're still ahead of both straight line winds and a quick spin up tornado. The winds are going to impact an area, larger area than any tornado would, but it's just really hard to differentiate the difference there along this line, especially if they're happening too quick. Radar only updates every so often.
You were talking about wind gusts, Zach, and the weather services came in. Jacksonville measured at 68 miles per hour and New Bern coming in at 64.
Yeah. That's some serious wind. That's just where we can sample it. So I'm sure there are some much stronger wind gusts than that along this line that it'll be interesting. Cherry Point, we'll get a pretty good idea of how strong this section of the line is probably in the next 3 to 5 minutes as reports come in and kind of tell us what the air base is measuring. New scan in right now, still looking like straight line winds there from Havelock northward, east of Deuce Forest, Arapahoe area. Still expecting straight line winds, a little bit of a notch there on 306 north of Arapahoe as you get closer to Highway 55. Bayboro area right on the edge. It's pretty much on top of you now in Bayboro. You need to be in your tornado safe spot. So does Arapahoe. Oriental, not quite into that highest threat, but it's going to be there quick, probably within the next 5 to 10 minutes. So anywhere in this tornado warning, you need to be away from windows, inner closet, hallway, anything you can find, just because that's where the wind has the toughest time causing damage. If you're in a room with windows, obviously the glass can break, things can fly in through the outer wall, but the more walls you put between you and the outside, the better chance you have of dealing with any damage and escaping it without any harm or as much harm. But if you're in one of those outer rooms with windows, as these winds move through, whether they're tornadic or straight line wind, you're gonna probably be in the worst of that storm as it moves through this area. So stay away from windows, don't go outside until that leading edge is past you. And there's still some pretty serious wind energy all the way still back to New Bern. So you may not be able to leave for a little bit, and that's fine. Just let the storm pass and reassess any damage or anything outside after the threat has passed. Winds may be weakening a little bit south of Havelock. Havelock up to Cherry Point, up towards Neuse Forest. We still expect some pretty gnarly straight line winds east of Highway 70. So Minnesota Beach, the ferry terminal, that's where the next chance for some pretty strong winds. Arapahoe, it's probably already on top of you based on the latest radar scan and how long ago that was. Same thing for Bayboro, Oriental. You've got a little bit of time. If you're along the Bay River, need to be in your tornado safe spot. And still some pretty strong winds north of that. Even I think that might be along the cold front. We may be getting a little bit of rotation there. Hard to tell if that's anything. This should be the cold front right here. So anything north of this, your wind should now be out of the north. And I don't know if it's going to be able to cause any issues other than just straight line winds, some non-thunderstorm. Even if it's just raining, you're not hearing thunder, you could still be in some pretty strong wind gusts, just depending on how this storm system reacts. Dustin, you got any updates?
Not really much to eye on, but of course they're watching the one between Arapahoe and Bayboro closely.
Yeah, the rain is really, the winds are still impressive. Don't look at radar on your phone or your apps or somewhere else and say this storm's not intense down near Havelock. We're still getting probably at least 50 mile per hour wind gusts, if not closer to 60, 65 there for Havelock area. The heaviest rain by far is now past the Neuse River. Here's the Neuse as it curves back up to New Bern. Very heavy rain from Aurora down to Bayboro, down to Oriental. That's where the heaviest of the rain is going to be. Looks like we do still have a severe thunderstorm warning. We have a severe thunderstorm warning up north?
Yes, they've extended up towards the Albemarle Sound now.
Okay,
Yep.
So yeah, it looks like a big one. So that severe thunderstorm warning is going to cover a lot of areas. Hopefully as this gets more to the north, it really starts to lose its intensity as it gets into some colder air. That has been the really big question with today's front is, would the cold air get here before the storms did? And for some, it did. Others, it hasn't. And that's where we found this very skinny, very limited severe weather threat, besides some very strong. All right, so we've got new video in from the New Bern Airport, James City, and we're going to roll that through you, for you. It's pretty strong straight line winds. And then what was the gust there at the airport? 64? 64. So that's above severe limits. Very strong straight line winds. That's why we've been trying to tell you, whether it's a tornado, whether it is a straight line wind threat, this is what we're dealing with. And I'm sure winds got much stronger than this as the actual line passed through. This just kind of looks like the
66 now, Zach, they've updated it.
66
Yes.
At New Bern?
Yes.
At the airport?
Yes.
Cool. Do we have anything for Cherry Point yet?
I haven't seen anything from there.
So we're back on, if we can go back to radar, kind of reset here just to give an idea. So one severe thunderstorm warning stretches from the Albemarle Sound, really Washington, Terrell County as you get onto the Sound, hit the water all the way down to New Bern. Have another severe thunderstorm warning for Carteret County. The tornado threat really confined to Pamlico County, maybe southern Beaufort, eastern Beaufort, all the way down south towards the Neuse River. That's where the greatest concern is going to be for any lingering tornado chances, as most of this lifts off to the north. But when you just look at this, and even looking like it's weakening a little bit, don't know if that's just radar doing radar things, or maybe we're starting to see this start to collapse. Too early to really sound the all clear though with that, as we still very impressive. Even south, down towards the radar site, up towards Havelock, very strong straight line winds still possible from Newport northward. Severe thunderstorm warning will cover that. But as far as any tornado threat, it's going to be right through here. We'll see if we can loop this and see if there was any debris lofted up. I have not seen anything that would make me concerned about debris being lofted up. It wouldn't have to be lofted up very high with the radar right there. But still, can't rule out we've had a few tornadoes. Will really come down to damage surveys, and if there's any damage that looks suspicious of a tornado, But just from a radar standpoint, it's been almost completely straight line winds with just a little bit of notches, enough to issue a tornado warning, enough to for us to be on air and talk about it. But so far, I've not seen anything too indicative of a tornado other than some notches in the line from this.
Mile-an-hour wind now.
Is it 66 in Cherry Point?
Yes.
Yeah, so all these blues are translating to the surface. These are wind gusts over 60 miles per hour. The darker blues up here probably going to be closer to, if not over 70 miles per hour. So we probably have some, I wouldn't say widespread, but probably some numerous power outages north of News Forest on Highway 70 as you head into New Bern, even the New Bern area. And driving on the bridge there, Highway 17 bridge outside of New Bern, not a fun time in winds like this. So hopefully everybody's okay. Dustin, if you could pull up the NC-DOT camera on the bridge, see if you see anything. Because I'm sure I think that updates every 5 minutes or so, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. We might get a glimpse of either a wreck or if there were any issues on the bridge as this line pushed through. But just still seeing some, if this was a straight line, we wouldn't be concerned about tornadoes. But there's just these little notches where these brief tornadoes are going to be possible for a little bit longer. Nothing south of Newport, even Newport to Havelock, this is all just straight line winds. Don't really, unless there's something hiding near the radar site that we can't see very well, that looks all like straight line winds. You look off the coast, Emerald Isle, Pine Knoll Shoals, you're going to get some strong wind gusts, at least 40 to 50. You might get an isolated 60 mile per hour wind gust. But for the most part, we kind of think the greatest tornado threat right now is well north of Havelock, probably north of the Neuse River, I would say. Pamlico, portions of Beaufort County, right through here is where your maybe your best chance for a tornado. Even right there, that's north of the tornado warning polygon. Let's put a loop on that and see if it's moving, if it's something, or if it's just different winds kind of clashing together as this cold front moves through. There might have been something right there, right through here. That's an area we need to, Dustin, make a note of that and see if we can go back and find any damage or some power outages right through there, kind of from the Beaufort County line over towards the end of Highway 33 as you approach the Pamlico River and the Pamlico Sound. I don't know. Let's see if the debris picked up anything. That's a little messy. That gives me a little bit better hope that we didn't have a tornado. This is riding a boundary. So you have the cold front coming in, you have everything, all the storms coming in from the southwest to the northeast. So it's a little noisy on a radar, but just something right through there kind of caught my eye. We'll have to go back and see if there's any evidence after the fact of some damage, whether it's straight line wind damage or maybe a quick spin up tornado. But wouldn't be surprised if we got some water spouts. Water temperatures are cold enough. I don't know if we're in water spout season just yet. It's possible, though, as these winds move out, go from all the trees, the forested areas, as they spread out over the water, you can quickly get some quick spin-up water spouts. So hopefully no one's on the water, but if they are, past time for them to get off. They should not have been on the water over the past hour, as things have gotten pretty windy regardless of storms. And then you factor in these storms, all these blues, wind gusts 60, 70, 75 miles per hour. Just not a great day to be out on the water as this line continues to now be past Bay Burrell. The tornado threat looks over for Bay Burrell, but still in some pretty strong winds. Same thing for Arapahoe, all the way down to the Neuse River. Until this little line right here gets past you, we'll have to keep an eye on any quick spin-up tornadoes. Oriental, still in that tornado threat. Anyone else out across portions, even back down to the southeast a little bit, you can still see some land that will have to pass through this. And as it gets out over open water, we'd have to watch this area down here for any quick spin-up water spouts or maybe something able to form a little bit better than that. Did you get anything off that camera?
I couldn't really see much of anything. Well,
yeah,
now
it might be raining too hard.
I think the Neuse River, it's a little more, you can see it a little more better now.
Yeah, doesn't look like there was any issues. So just to recap some of the wind gusts we've had so far today. We had a 64, changed to 66 at the New Bern Airport. Cherry Point, that'd be 66. So we had 64 at the New Bern Airport, 66 at Cherry Point. So that was not even where we were really concerned about any quick spin-up tornado. That looked more like straight line winds, and we were getting some pretty consistent 66 mile per hour wind gusts. There was another 40 mile per hour wind gust at New Bern behind that line, and still just hanging out around 66 miles per hour at Cherry Point, which again is kind of where we expect more of a straight line wind threat. Not under a tornado warning anymore, over towards Havelock, but definitely the wind should be coming down. We should be at the point where still probably getting some 35 to 45 mile per hour wind gusts, but starting to get less intense, and especially the rain. Not really seeing the rain be a problem. Most of the heavier rains up here, and even starting to hopefully lose some steam. But anywhere kind of right in this notch would probably be our best chance for a quick spin-up tornado here over the next few minutes. And then we should start to see this run into some colder air and hopefully weaken just a little bit as it gets closer to Swan Quarter. It should start to run into some of this rain-cold air and the cold front itself that should really kind of keep this from getting any stronger. I think this storm is hopefully already hit its peak. If not, it's at its peak right now. We should start to see this become just rain, heavy rain at that, as it moves up into northeastern Beaufort County, over into Hyde County. Don't know if it's going to make it to Dare, Washington, Terrell County, but you are under a severe thunderstorm warning just for some strong straight line winds, regardless of this cell that has the chance of a quick spin-up tornado.
The tornado warning again goes to 3:15, and it's still moving at the east at 50 miles an hour. Areas such as Havelock, of course, they're still making, and out over north of the Pamlico.
A little messy on velocity. You can still see some stronger winds on the backside of this. The winds here in Pitt County have died down. It doesn't look like they're doing much outside. So it's going to get better. Once this line passes through, it's just going to take some time due to how much wind energy we have above our heads. A ton of movement going on, and it's been able to make it to the surface today. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But right now, severe thunderstorm warning, still some probably 40 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts there from Newport, heading towards Beaufort, Cape Lookout, anywhere down East Carteret, anywhere east of Newport and Havelock is going to have the chance of some strong straight line of winds, but not necessarily a chance at any type of tornado anytime soon. So severe thunderstorm warning continues for a good chunk of Carteret, portions of Craven still. The tornado warning now just limited to Pamlico and the Neuse River. Pamlico County and the Neuse River. Pamlico River is not under a tornado warning, but still some very intense winds and rain, probably some lightning mixed in with that as well. Roughly from Bath eastward. Bath, you're fine. This is going to be well past you. The worst of this storm is going to be east of you. Swan Quarter, you're still going to be in line for some pretty strong winds, and we'll have to watch for a quick spin-up waterspout as some of these strong winds now start to get out over open water and kick into gear a little bit more than they would over trees and over the forest. So wind speeds usually get stronger. It's why windiest conditions might not be bad on land, but when we're talking about marine elements, we usually bump up the numbers a little bit more because wind and air move faster on a flat surface. That water, we have large enough rivers to where even right through here, your winds are going to intensify a little bit more than they would over water. So it looks like or over land. Looks like they've trimmed this tornado watch, or tornado warning, excuse me, just a little bit. Still going to be did you say 3:15 or 3:10?
3:15.
3:15. So we still got about 6 more minutes to see if this does anything more than it's already done. But just a lot of wind energy. Still back towards Bayboro. Winds probably starting to calm down the New Bern area, but may still be on the stronger side. Definitely the noticeable side. And then from Oriental northeastward all the way up to the water of the Sound is where we have that brief chance for a quick spin-up tornado. Nothing too concerning. It's a little messy there, which can be a good thing. It usually means we're not getting much, but it can also mean we might be missing something. But just still some little areas that I just wouldn't trust. Here's the Bay River. Everything south of that really needs to keep an eye on the rest of this line as it moves off land and moves out over open water. Couple little notches, even a little bit of inflow right here, trying to wrap up. So I think a water spout is possible as this moves out over the open water. This area, I think this is the area we were watching earlier. Might be a little bit of something going on there. But that would almost be flowing the wrong way. We'd have almost clockwise rotation right there where we'd be looking for anti-clockwise, counterclockwise. So I think once this moves out over water, I think we can go back to the regular 3 o'clock show, so we can try to start getting ready for that. But man, these wind estimates are
61, 63, yeah.
Still a lot of lightning from Aurora to Swan Quarter. Still a lot of heavy rain. Bath, you're probably still hearing some thunder. Don't have any severe concerns for you. You should be on the getting calmer side of this line versus the louder and busier side. Swan Quarter, you still got to let this line come through. Vandermeer, you're kind of right on the back edge of some of this heavier rain. You should be starting to see things kind of die down soon. I think the area of greatest concern right now is going to be northeast to Oriental, Hoboken area, lowland area, moving towards Swan Quarter across the Pamlico River. There's a lot of game land out there. There's some houses, Hoboken area. If you live there, lowland, Mill Seat Landing, near the lowland Church of Christ. I still think we have enough straight line wind threat where you're going to definitely want to stay away from your windows, stay away. There's probably some pollen. We've been so warm, everything's come out of its slumber so quick. We were starting to get, yesterday saw a little bit more pollen than we've seen the past couple of days today before the rain arrived. So I would not be surprised if the visibility looks low. It looks kind of dusty outside. There might be some dust, but that might be just a lot of pollen being blown up in the air. You can see some of the wind gusts, 61 in New Bern, 46 in Beaufort. Earlier we had a 52, 54 mile per hour wind gust in Greenville at the airport. So that storm was not even really severe. It was just kind of a line of showers that had a lot of wind energy with it. So the area that we're most concerned about continues to be kind of this sweet spot where you still had the colder ocean temperatures, but we had heated up enough in between. Can you say that one more time? Okay, they're giving me some instructions for what we do when this tornado watch or tornado warning is dropped or allowed to expire, which should be coming up in about 2 minutes. But the most intense part of this storm is going to be back up towards now Swan Quarter. I think Swan Quarter, you're in for some really strong winds. Maybe not necessarily a tornado threat unless we get a water spout or something to quickly form up. Looks a little messier, looks a little bit more disorganized, but once it gets over open water, we may be able to wrap up a little bit easier and get a quick water spout versus anything on land. So we're in the 3 o'clock hour. Newscast usually starts this time of the day. So we're gonna, once this warning is officially allowed to expire and they don't issue a new one for anywhere else, we will go to commercial break, regroup, and then we'll come back with the 3 o'clock weather news as advertised, as we do every single day. So we're not going anywhere. If you need more updates, we'll be able to kind of hone in on some of these other areas that are seeing some stronger winds, maybe not necessarily severe, some heavy rain, maybe some thunder and lightning, but severe threat has been highest really from where this tornado warning is now all the way east of Jacksonville is really where that storm was able to take advantage of a very narrow corridor of some pretty strong instability that was able to form today. Just enough sunshine, just enough lag in the cold front getting here to give us a narrow window for severe weather. And a lot of elsewhere, if you haven't had a severe thunderstorm warning today and you have a tree branch down, you had some pretty strong wind gusts, probably 30 to 50 miles per hour, but those are not considered severe. It may not even been tied to a storm. It may have just been the cold front coming through. Since we have such a dense wedge of cold air coming in, temperatures are dropping fast, that usually allows our winds to pick up a little bit more. But this tornado warning should be good for 1 more minute. I'll check in with the National Weather Service, see what they decide to do. They agree with us. Strongest winds are occurring from Bay Borough to Swan Quarter and are about to move out into the Sound. Outside of those areas, strong winds remain a risk. And they continue to see some signs of rotation in the Bay Borough Swan Quarter area.
So they just dropped the warning.
Okay, so they dropped the warning for now. If they issue another one for Swan Quarter, if something quickly tries to spin up as it crosses the Sound, we'll be back on really quick. But for now, since we have no active warnings, and I'll zoom back out to make sure, we have 1 active severe thunderstorm warning now that is down for portions of Craven and Carteret County, with a good chunk of that warning already behind where that severe threat is. We are going to throw back to programming. Quick commercial break. We'll come back, and then we'll talk more about the weather and news of the day.